Mm. Hello! So far, my setup for the camera is my laptop, 5 Chinese books, a Where's Wally book, a Shanghai traveller guide, and a Chinese dictionary camera. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. So, I said in my last video at the end that I will tell you about my second week in China in this video. One sec. I need to be a lot more prepared for this video. Okay, first, I'll give you some backstory. So, it's very hard trying to find an apartment in Shanghai, especially the time that we came, because all the students from all across the world are coming to Shanghai at the same time and that everyone's looking for apartments. It's pretty mental to find an apartment. I found one on the 6th of September, so quite early on, sort of within the first week of me being there, and it was really good. It was a bit more expensive than I was expecting to spend for an apartment, but it was really good location. The apartment was beautiful, and the landlady was called Cindy, and I'd be living with her and a French girl, so it was a 3-bedroom. What the advert on Smart Shanghai didn't tell me was that her boyfriend would also be living with her and us for the year. So the landlady is called Cindy and her boyfriend is called Joseph, that was it. And I don't know if this is a spoiler, I don't know if I'll keep this bit in, but Joseph, was the most horrible man I have honestly ever met before in my entire life. He was American and Cindy was 27 years old and Chinese, and he was, I'm guessing, 40 and American and just cold, and if there was an option to say anything sort of rude or that he knows would make you feel uncomfortable, then he took it and he said it. And I'm quite a unconfrontational person, so whenever he did anything I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, you just smile and try and sort of take it as a joke, but he was horrible. Anyway, so those are the 2 names you're gonna have to learn for this, and I shall start my reading. So 8th of September 2015. I got up nice and early in order to be at the apartment for 9 to sign the contract. Cindy's boyfriend was there, and my goodness me, I was so taken aback and scared by him. I was freaking out and didn't know if I wanted to sign or not. But after 1.5 hours of looking at the contract and asking him questions, I signed. I did freak out still for a long while after that though, but I headed back to the hostel to shower, have breakfast, and then we went to uni to register. So yeah, bearing in mind that this is all sort of coinciding with needing to go to the university in Shanghai, registering, taking sort of the placement exams so that they put you in the right classes and things like that. So there's a lot of things on my plate at the time. The 9th is when I moved in, so that's the day after. At 12:30 I checked out of the hostel and took a taxi to Xikanglu, which is the road where the apartment was. I got there at 1ish and the guy was there, and actually not much nicer than I expected / remembered. I went out for lunch to a place they recommended to me and it was so good. After going for the meal, I went to the Bank of China near the apartment because I wanted to set up a Chinese bank account because that would make it so much easier to pay sort of rent and things and take money out without being charged ridiculous amounts every time you want to do that. So I went to the Bank of China just after lunch, so 1:30 kind of time, and it took so long, and by the time I set up the account and got my card it was 4:55 and I didn't have time to go home, transfer money from the UK account to the China account and take money out because they shut at 5. I needed to pay Cindy as soon as possible, so basically I've written, so I got back and cried to Chris as I was scared Cindy would kick me out for not giving her the money on time. She didn't reply, so I put on a brave face and went to IKEA to get bedding, a chair and other bits. It was a bit stressful, she didn't reply until about 10:30 at night, saying it was okay, and I was like, thank God, because I'm in IKEA now and I couldn't put everything back. So she said it was okay and pay sort of when I can, but keep her in the loop. The 10th, I woke up and transferred £1,500 to my new Chinese account. The money didn't transfer straight away though, for some reason, and I kept checking my Chinese account and it wasn't there, but I told Cindy every day. I don't think anything too dramatic happened after then. I think that was just to sort of set the tone for you. The next big piece of drama is the 14th of September, so that's a few days after that. I should say, money-wise, the money still hadn't come through from my English account to the Chinese account, and I was really worried because £1,500 is a lot of money, and it's just scary when you say an immediate transfer and it hasn't arrived. And basically, from my UK account, I didn't have any money left to take out the money to pay Cindy, and I told them, and they were like, yeah, that's fine, it's not like we're going to kick you out and take your deposit and things, we're not that kind of people. And I was like, okay, brilliant. And I just made sure to keep them in the loop every day and let them know that I'm still trying. Then the 14th happened. The 14th of September was the first day of uni. So that was the first day where, after the placement test, we had been put into these classes, and it was a really exciting day to go into university. And I remember my family and Chris, my boyfriend, were really excited to sort of hear what I had to say for when they woke up in England, because obviously we're 7 hours ahead, and they were really excited to hear about my first day of uni. But let me see. First day of uni, exclamation mark, in brackets, drama to follow, ... I'll just skip to after university. Uni was good. Oh, it's gonna get emotional reading this. I got home at 1ish. I went to my room, watched YouTube, and fell asleep at 2:15ish. Drama begins. Sorry, my camera stopped recording and it's flashing like the battery light. Anyway, Cindy and Joseph were still here when I fell asleep, and so when I heard my door opening at 3:50, I thought it was Cindy checking up on me. Rude she didn't knock, I thought. But I looked up and saw a man I've never seen before, and when he saw me, I let out a quivering grunt slash gasp slash whimper, and he turned and ran. I went after him after having a tiny panic in my bedroom, and went between looking through the peephole to trying to find something to use as a weapon if he came back. I decided on the iron, by the way, because it's heavy and it's got a handle and you can like cause some damage with it, basically. I tried calling Cindy when I realised I was alone, and then packed my most precious stuff, laptop, external hard drive, passport and diary, and left. I basically was really scared that he'd come back with a weapon and do something pretty terrible, or take things. Basically in that situation you can't really think. I just needed to get out of there. I went to the security office and did my best at explaining what happened. This was at the bottom of the building. Actually really proud of myself considering the state I was in. I am really surprised how easy speaking in Chinese is when you're full of adrenaline and shaking and hysterically crying, because the fact that it's a different language just doesn't occur to you, and you need to say things and they just come out. You can't, there isn't time to think and to think, oh, this is hard, or oh, I'm speaking Chinese. Like, it just, you have to. So that was pretty cool linguistic wise. Then after he said to me to come back when Cindy gets home, I went outside and tried calling everyone, as I didn't know the hostel address. So my first idea was basically to jump in a taxi and go to the hostel where my friends were. Nobody picked up though, so I called Tom, got in a taxi and headed to his. Cindy then called and I explained to her what happened, and she said she was going home. Then Beth called and I had a cry telling her what happened. So basically I was on the phone to Tom, getting his address, hysterically crying to him. Cindy called, I talked to her and said, okay, I'll come back. Then Beth called, trying to work out what was going on, and I called her and told her the story, hysterically crying, in which time I got out of the taxi I was in. Actually, in which time, while I was on the phone to Beth, the taxi I was in broke down. Like, we were in traffic and smoke started coming out of the bonnet, and it broke. Like, as far as dramatic stories go, this is where you're allowed to laugh, because how ridiculous is that, where a burglar had walked into my room, saw me, like, that's a terrifying thing to happen, it's horrible, and then as I'm escaping, the taxi breaks down. It's like, it's not something that happens in real life, this is something that Mr. Bean does. So anyway, so the taxi broke down, and then I got out that taxi, crossed the road and went to another taxi going back to the apartment. In which time, on that taxi, Chris had woken up and I phoned him with WhatsApp and told him the story. So he was expecting a nice, happy, exciting day of my first day at uni, and there I was, mid-drama, hysterical. Also, these poor taxi drivers, I feel so sorry for them, having a hysterical English girl crying down the phone in English and they have no idea what's going on. Anyway, when I got back, Cindy and I went to watch the CCTV footage but couldn't see him at all. Basically, how I remember him was that he didn't look Chinese. That's the weird thing. I thought the first thing I thought was that he looked Turkish. Darkish tan skin, brown eyes, brown hair. Like, he wasn't Chinese. And he was wearing a white and navy shirt. I'm not sure if it was striped or if it was a logo or something, but it was white and navy, fairly half and half. So we went to watch the CCTV footage, but we couldn't see him at all. And then Joseph came back and we changed the locks. Just check you're still recording. So that was the end of that day. The burglar walked into my room, panicked, went to the security guard, told him what happened, ran away, came back, sorted through CCTV and found nothing, and then went out, came back and went to sleep. Hello! So it's the next day now from when I filmed that, and I'm just editing it and about to upload it. But the clips, I wanted to keep the whole story in so that you'd get everything from the week. It's sort of twice as long as I was expecting, so I'm just going to cut it in half. So this is the first half, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, or roughly next week, I'll upload the next half of the video, and you've still got, let me see, I've been burgled, you've still got loads more apartment drama, like big apartment dramas, going to hospital, bank trouble, what else, ongoing uni, that kind of thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and definitely come along next week for more ridiculous stories. This is a month after that week now. This, for me in real life now, this all happened a while ago. So I'm fine now, I'm happy, I'm living somewhere safe, and I'm really enjoying my time. I also said at the end of the second half that no matter, like, even though loads of ridiculously dramatic stuff happened, I still, at the end of every day, I still was happy that I was in Shanghai. I mean, it was pretty stressful stuff to happen, pretty ridiculous, but I was still enjoying my time. Like, the days were good. I still had good friends and good experiences, so don't worry about me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and come along next week to see the second half.